Welcome to the Octagon MMA podcast brought to you by Combat Sports UK. I'm Lewis Glover and I'm joined by the voice of Octagon MMA, the one, the only, Mr. Bryan Lacey. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, mate. I'm still relishing that microphone, mate. Yeah, you thought I was joking when I said it sounded great, but I've double headphoned now because it sounds warm and it reminds me of a grandfather I've lost. So he's not dead. We just haven't found him in Weatherspoons for a while. That's all. He's
Well,
good. How are you, mate?
yeah,
How are
good.
you?
Very good. Yeah, I've started to feel a bit older recently. Sore back, daughter's getting old, so comparing me to your grandfather's really helped with that one. Appreciate it.
No, you're good. You're good, mate. You look good.
Fantastic. Thank you. We are here to preview Octagon 74, and that's going down at one of the most beloved venues for Octagon fans, and the organization returns to Svanitsa. I mean, we've spoken about this venue before. It's been a bit of a hiatus for the organization to go there. So just how excited is everyone to get back there to an event that always seems to bring the best out of the fans, the best out of the fighters? I mean, I've one of my core memories of that was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jedi himself made his promotional debut on that island, and that was pretty
Yeah.
spectacular.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what's it like for everyone involved? How excited is everyone to get back there?
It's beautiful, mate, because it was an emotional goodbye, and again, it kind of by chance became this must see event. Like it was the event of the summer. This is 6,000 to 7,000 seats, tennis court. It's like a real old tennis court, but right in the middle of Prague on this little island. And they put an event on there, and just special things happened. Like it's outdoors. They first started the halftime shows there, but everybody seems to rise to the occasion somehow, somewhere. I'm going to curse it now. They always seem to do some voodoo, which makes the weather insanely good for the tournaments. But like you said, it's the home of some special moments. You've got crazy ones like Carlos Vermola being carried out on a throne to come and fight in the cage. But like you said, the debut of Akon won this. People like that, and even Lucia Zvabova, who retired, not retired, but went away to have that hiatus to have the baby. That was the last fight she had. And now she's coming back and she's fighting in the main event for a title she believes should be hers already, against Cecilia Bolander. So everyone loves it. It's special, even the promo with Andre. I don't know if you saw the promo where he comes out of a swimming pool shirtless and goes, Svanit, so we're back. And even when I watched it, I was like, it's so Andre. But it kind of made everyone smile and remember little moments that happened in it, like Andre dancing with the crowd. I don't know if you remember that bit,
Yep.
but there was a bit in between the fights that went viral where he's commentating but also dancing, and the crowd are joining him. And it's wild, it's beautiful, and it is the summer party, buddy.
Oh, it's going to be great, and yeah, Andre is ever the showman, isn't he? He knows how to get eyeballs onto his product. But you
Or
you
his shirtless body, my friend. Everybody, when he came out of the he does spend 3 months of his year on a Caribbean island doing Survivor, so he has got a quality tan. So I don't begrudge him it, mate. I don't begrudge him.
hey, if you got the goods, you got to show them off. And let's jump into the fight. You mentioned it. You mentioned the main event just before, and it does. One half of that fight is Lucia Sabova. Right, she does think that the belt should be hers, and she's going to be coming in to prove a point. And she's also going to be the overwhelming fan favorite. There's a reason why this fight is the main event, and she's on the poster. She's a veteran. She's a local hero. But she's also a very well-rounded fighter as well. She's got the background in striking. She is a ferocious striker. She's got some incredible highlight finishes on her reel. The head kick comes to mind. But she's also finished 50% of her wins by submission as well. So we're talking about a proper modern mixed martial artist. What are your thoughts on this fight? And what can Cecilia Bolander do to try and mitigate what she brings to the table?
Yes, it's a great fight. I mean, it's so worthy of a main event just because
Absolutely.
both of them are always an exciting fights. You look at Bolander and the two fights she's had with Pudilova. Again, she lost the first one by split decision. That's a huge leap for her going against a former UFC fighter, somebody who is a superstar in the Czech Republic. Then to get the rematch, the fight that Zvabova was supposed to have. This was supposed to be the biggest fight in Czech, Slovak female history, between Zabova and Pudilova, and then Zabova got ill. Pudilova accepted the rematch with Bolander, and then Bolander turned up, and it was bloody, it was brutal. Bolander's nose got changed for the rest of her life, let's be honest, during that fight. But she put in such a gutsy performance and edged it across the line in a split decision.
Yep.
And it's again one of those moments that you're so grateful that we are here to witness this sport and these stars rise. Bolander is so unique as a personality. She's coming from Norway, where stupidly MMA is still illegal. But again, Norway has got a tradition of that. I think they didn't legalize boxing again until 2014, which is ridiculous if you think about combat sports and what marquee events boxing is, and also the athletes that they've got. Jack Hermansson in the UFC, he still can't get insurance to train in Norway, so it's just a ridiculous thing. So for her to come through to claim the biggest, bantamweight title in Europe on that stage on the biggest show of the year was magic. But she's up against Szabová now, and that for me is like you highlighted just how well-rounded she was. She's vicious. She's so humble and quiet and underspoken outside the cage. Yet you look at that Rosa Gomina fight, and again, Rosa, Polish MMA fighter, well-rounded, heavy kickboxing presence, and she was dominating that fight, but she refused to not finish that fight. She battled it through to get that late armbar finish in that third round, and that for me sums her up. She is a finisher. She's bloodthirsty. I think her striking is more devastating than Pudilova's. Pudilova's is more about range, more about output, volume. Whereas Szabová, we've seen it with that head kick knockout. If she can find an angle or get the opportunity, whether it's on the ground or on the feet, that's super dangerous. But I think both ladies are going to come in looking to prove some things. Szabová believes she should have that belt already. Bolander believes people don't believe she deserves that belt, and she wants to prove it. And there's something about that girl. Honestly, when you meet her, it's hard to say, but there is just an immense amount of belief, discipline, drive, tenacity. There's a dog in her as well. We've already seen that. So I just think we're in for a spectacle. I think it's going to be brutal, bloody, and I think it might. I think it's rightly the main event, but I think it could be the main, the fan favorite fight for the night.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking down the card, there's plenty of other knocks on here, which are bound to get these fans on their feet and really build a special atmosphere on the island. And that could be the cherry on top of what is a fantastic night. In the co-main event, we've got the men's bantamweight title strap on the line, currently vacant. And this is an incredibly high level fight between two guys at different stages in their career, but both looking to prove that they belong atop the division here for OKTAGON. Both have dipped their toes into the highest level UFC or Dana White Contender Series, and it's fascinating when you get a young, hungry guy who's well-rounded, violent, mean, nasty, got a bit of a chomp about him, and the grizzled veteran Jack Cartwright, who's earned it all on the circuit, who's almost reached the pinnacle, didn't quite get there, and now he's got a chip on his shoulder and got something to prove that, no, listen, I am the number one bantamweight in Europe. I'm here to prove it, and I'm here to have my time in the spotlight. So, I mean, this is going to be a tremendous fight, and there's so many other great fighters in this division. Whoever gets the belt, truly can call themselves the best 135er in Europe. What do you think about this one?
Oh, it's great. It's great. And all those words you used to describe Severino, you could equally throw them at Jack Cartwright, and that's what makes it great. He was so hurt by that loss to Magard and the way it happened, particularly on British soil. And then he went away and he just does what he did. He comes off social media. He just works. And that's the whole thing about Cartwright. We don't see much of him in the media. You don't see much of him, on socials. You don't see a lot of interviews. You don't see any of that. But the guy works. Yep. He is absolutely dedicated to this sport. And he's grappling since the age of competitively around Europe from the age of 9, Muay Thai from the age of 5. He's got knockout power in his hands. I think he's one of the hardest hitting bantamweights on the planet, and that's across all promotions. Yep. Just he has that special power. And then Severino, he's embraced the whole thing that happened with him with the UFC. And again, you look at him coming out now with the masks, the Hannibal Lecter stuff, and he is so good. there's stories of him, like I listened to interviews, and when he was a kid and they got into jiu-jitsu first, he would sit on the mats because his brother is also an MMA fighter, and he wasn't allowed to train MMA because he was too young. So he'd finish jiu-jitsu and he'd just sit on the mats, just hungry to watch and learn. Eventually, the coach just said, come on then, if you think you can do it. And he embraced it. And I mean, he's still very young. He's in his early 20s. To get to where he's got to, and I know what happened when he was in the UFC with the bite is a lot of people don't like it, but again, you look at him as a kid and this thing, just the reaction, you got to let it go and to see him embrace it and then come and do a performance like he did against Jonas to now be fighting for the title.
Yep.
I love this fight, and Jonas is watching. That's the
Yeah,
other thing. You
Jonas.
know what's next. It's
He's
great when you
definitely
have
watching.
it's great when you have a title fight where you know what's next, and we all know what's next. Whoever wins this, Severino edged the win against Jonas. Cartwright has still got that bitter taste from that loss against Jonas. Whoever wins this, Jonas Magard is waiting, and that makes me excited because that division keeps moving. We keep getting new
Absolutely.
fighters, new talent, and the consistent one is Magard. He's always in and around that belt, and whoever takes that will have him to deal with next.
100%. And hopefully he fancies himself a little city break to Prague that weekend, so we can get that face off right
Listen,
there and then.
Listen, I've been in places when he's been there just for press conference. So when Jonas doesn't have a fight and he's in Prague, Prague beware, all right? Prague beware. The shark is legit, and he doesn't need water to cause trouble. So yeah, I hope he's there as well. It'll be fantastic if he is.
Absolutely. But as well as these two title fights, we've got of course the quarterfinals of the Tip Sport Game Changer, and we've seen some unbelievable fights, some finishes, some upsets already. And as the talent comes to the top of this pyramid, I think we're just going to see even better and better fights, better competition between the guys as we reach the latter stages of this tournament. And for me, I think the fight that has the most possible dynamite, although all of them are very, very good, is Mate Peñas versus Piotr Wawrzyniec, because both of them had crushing first round KOs of their opponent in the last round of the tournament. Like, put those two together, happy days. Go let that leather fly, boys, and let's see what happens.
It's great because Peñas is without a doubt one of the favorites, and rightly so. He's looked phenomenal. Outside that little blip when he went to the Contender Series and made just one mistake in that fight. He has been devastating. First man ever to finish Matthew Bonner inside the cage. The Zavada fight where he was being, controlled against the cage, and then when he found space, just showed how dangerous he is. You just look at the knockouts and the power, the technique, the physical attributes this guy has got, and he has everything. He has absolutely everything to take this tournament, and many are backing him to do that. But Wawrzyniec, he has upset the apple cart more than once. Stepped in on short notice to replace Kinsel against Chepo, and then finished, first man to finish Chepo via punches in the second round of their fight, claimed the interim title. Then Mazouk, who was on the rise. You look at his knockout of Zavada in the stadium show. You look at all the stuff that was around him, and Piotr Wawrzyniec, 80 shots. No one's done that. Mazouk is the first guy ever in any combat sport to knock out Apollo, and he did it in big gloves in boxing. And Wawrzyniec took the shots, brought it to him, and finished him. Like, didn't just beat him, finished him. Now, everybody wanted Peñas versus Chepo. Everybody, even at the picks after the opening rounds, everyone was gutted we didn't get Chepo. And I think you've got to be careful, because if Mate Peñas thinks this will be easy, you've got to remember this guy's already beaten the boogeyman Chepo, beaten the Slovak boogeyman Mazouk, the other Slovak boogeyman. He's a problem. He's tenacious, well-rounded. He gave Kinsel hell in the first 2 rounds of their fight. So I think this is one, and again, this is what I think with these 4 fights. The cream is rising to the top, but watch for the underdogs, because I think they will have a part to play on August 9th. And Wawrzyniec, Prague will be on their feet for Peñas, but will Wawrzyniec put Peñas on his back for Prague? That's what we'll find out.
Absolutely. And a man you just mentioned there, Mazouk, gets a second bite of the cherry in this tournament as the lucky loser. I think that's a phenomenal way of doing things in a knockout tournament where, things can happen. You might lose, but you put on a great performance. You're a fan favorite, and I think it's fitting that he steps in to replace Chepo, who is out injured, unfortunately. So he's going to get his a chance. But he's up against it, going against who for many was the pre-favorite tournament in Krzysztof Jotko. But as you said, those hands, that power, one mistake, and Jotko could find himself out of the tournament far
Yeah.
earlier than he ever planned.
Not many people can take the power. Again, Wawrzyniak, that's why I highlighted it.
Yep,
It's that chin is so unique. And we've seen it when you look at the list of knockouts and finishes that Chepo and Mazuk have done. But
absolutely.
Yoko is a veteran. And that is a word which, rings when you look at him, his record, his resume.
He's fought
Got to
everyone.
everyone. And he was 17 fights in the UFC or
It
something
was
ridiculous.
ridiculous, a ridiculous number.
Yeah, and then training alongside your Poiriers, your Masvidals, your Colby Covingtons, all those top level fighters at American Top Team consistently, like for the whole of his professional, or so for the whole of his UFC career. And you saw what he did to Serdu. He doesn't mind it being boring.
No.
And I wouldn't say, and his walkout was great actually. I was really impressed with him coming out in the blade thing. That for me showed personality, and that's
Yeah,
that's leaning into Octagon, the fans, and what we do. But the performance was just clinical. It was he knew exactly how to beat Serdu,
yeah,
and again Serdu coming up in weight, credit for that. But for Yotko to do what he did, and almost with ease,
yeah.
that's it. But he's got to avoid that danger of the power punches of
A
Mizouk for sure.
100%. But and fans have got to remember as well, this is a knockout tournament. And if you can take the easiest path to victory, get yourself into the final and walk home with a big fat check, then
Yeah,
that's
come
what you
on,
need. That's what you
come
need to
on,
do. And he knows
yeah.
all the tricks, all of the veteran wiles. And for a man that in the past, 5 years has only lost to Sean Strickland and Brendan Allen and has some incredible wins on his record. As you said, a million fights in the UFC, fought everybody, just a wily veteran, and he'll fancy his capability to navigate those power shots, but all it takes is one blip, one lapse in concentration, and it could be good night Vienna or good
That's
night
why
Prague.
that's good night, Pratt. That's why MMA is the best,
It's the
mate, because
best.
that's what can happen.
Absolutely. The fights just keep coming in this tournament, Brian. We got Humberger against Hume. I mean, both guys unbelievable finishes in their previous rounds. Yeah, this looks like to be a banger as well. Any little insights, thoughts on any of these two guys? Obviously, Humberger making his promotional debut as well. There was a lovely special presentation for his military background with the knife that was auctioned off. That was fantastic. But he just seems to be a great character. And you've also got the South African training with Mr. Duplessis every single day, getting better and better. Iron sharpens iron. So, he's going to be fancying himself to take home this tournament as well.
Yeah, and he loves being with Octagon. He loves the show. He loves all the thing around. And he's talking about this tournament. If he wins it, he can accumulate all of his checks. And he's been EFC two-weight champion. He's fought for ACB. He's fought for multiple other promotions, and you could say you can put it all together, and I'll have never earned that much money. So that's a driving force for somebody at his stage in his career.
Yep.
And again, a veteran. You talk about his training, his background, his style is a nightmare for Humberger as well, just because of the grappling prowess that he's got. But Humberger is like a star on the rise, and sometimes there's something magic that happens with that. And his Pirat, first of all, his announcement in Octagon was special. Fighting KSW the night before, then walking into the Octagon cage in Trinets, then the performance against Pirat and the way he did that, then everything that's come with the military and even the Eden presentation that we did with him, with the colonel from the Czech army. I call him Captain Czechia because that's exactly how he feels. He feels like the Czech Captain America, and it's a great fight. It's a great fight. If he can get through Hulme, he will put himself up there as one of the favorites. But I think Hulme's style is something he's never faced, and if he navigates it, that solidifies him as legit in my eyes.
100%. And to round out the final fight in this portion of the tournament, some British interest here with the veteran Mick Stanton taking on the incumbent champion Karim Engizek. Another great fight, contrasting styles. I think most people would be picking the champion here, but Stanton, a veteran of the game, been seen it all, fought tons of different people, just a chiseled veteran. And I think he's going to want to get in there, make it ugly, make it difficult, and if really test Engizek's credentials and make him prove that he is champion material once more to progress in this tournament.
Yeah, if you want to do something with 15 minutes of your time, jump onto the showdown they've done with on Octagon. So go on the global channel or the main MMA Octagon MMA channel on YouTube. It's amazing. The story of Stanton, the story of Engizek coming with his brother from a kid's home, like fighting his way, fighting together to get out of that home, and then building up to what he is now, which is a superstar. Changed his life, undefeated for 11 years. Best friends with the Dolatovs, phenomenal fighter, destroyed, like completely broke down Kinsel in their fight for the title. But Mick Stanton, there is something about him and the way he is coming together for this tournament. And again, he tried all the stuff he's done, all the stuff he's won, from the boxing national championships to the two-time Cage Warriors championships. He did it as an amateur, not as an amateur, as a hobby. Like he was working alongside that. He took fights because he needed money when he was injured, and he lost some of those as well. His style is a nightmare for anyone, not just Engizek, but I think in particular a fighter like Engizek or like Peñas. His control, the style of Darren Morris and what he teaches them as far as, the systems that they've got for controlling somebody on the ground, the traps that they set. And there's something in Stanton that he believes this is meant to be. And that's kind of taken the pressure off what the pressure of the tournament would be. It's not like he genuinely believes that destiny has put this in front of him because of all the sacrifice, all the time, everything is surmounting to this moment. And he picked Engizek. He didn't avoid it. There was in the draw. He walked and stood next to Kareem Engizek's spot to say, "I'll fight you. If I'm going to be the best, I want to beat the champ." So he said to me that in the restaurant a few days before, and he can say it, but will you do it? And he had no fear to go and take that spot. So I love this fight.
Yeah.
I love it because Engizek has been quiet. He is. I mean, a lot of people are wondering, will he turn up? He came out of the fight it's the reason it's on this card. He came out of the Eden fight. Will he turn up for this one? Stanton doesn't believe so. He's preparing for one of the reserve fighters, maybe. But if Engizek turns up and he's pissed off by Stanton, that could be fireworks. And if Stanton can get his hands on Engizek, it could be the upset of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. All four of these fights look absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's why the Game Changers, so good. It brings the best of the best in the division, and there's never a dull fight. There's never a fight that doesn't have something compelling, some storyline, or someone who's guaranteed to put on an absolute mega performance. Just before we wrap things up, Bryan, there's plenty of other fights on this card. Of course, we've got a stacked night ahead of us. Is there one other fight that you would pick out to say, hey, keep your eye on this one? Something interesting could happen here. What have you got?
Listen, yes, we've got former UFC fighters. We've got people that have been in the tip sport Game Changer. We've got Octagon legends. We've got fighters with nearly 30 fights on their resume. But the one I want people to watch is the opening fight of the card. That is Misha Halavchikova versus Neve Kinahan. Both these girls moving from Muay Thai into MMA. They fought before. They fought for the WBC title, which Kinahan has. She has had it since 2022 to now. She beat Misha Halachikova in that fight. They're going to run it back in MMA. Halachikova has beaten Szabová in Muay Thai. That was in recent times, the last couple of years. She is the multi-time Czech champion. She fought in the Worlds. I think she came fourth or fifth or something like that. But Neve Kinahan from the UK, she is the WBC champion, super lightweight WMO champion, ISKA champion, the most decorated Muay Thai fighter at 61 kilograms, male or female, that the UK, you could argue the world has ever produced. And she's now training. She's at Frank's gym for Muay Thai, but they've now linked up with Aspire, with Dean Garnett, with Aaron Abbey, with all the great minds and bodies that are over there. And they are, in their words, creating a monster. So these two in the opening fight, you can watch it for free on the YouTube channel. That's going to be the YouTube free one. But for me, even the fact it's got ramifications with the main fight, the fact Halachikova is beaten Szabová, the fact that they're in the same weight class, and we're starting the card with the girls, we're ending it with the girls. But watch this fight because I feel like we will see either way a star be born.
Well, that is one hell of a sales pitch. And as you said, absolutely no excuse to not watch it. It's free on YouTube. So make sure your bum is on the couch, ready to go. from the start of the event. Get your pay-per-view sorted as well, and get your own beers in, get your own snacks in. Pretend you're out there on the island yourself and just soaking up the sun and enjoy what's going to be an incredible night of fights. But Bryan, once again, thank you as always for chatting to me. It was an absolute pleasure. I can't wait for this one. I'm sure you're gonna have a great time there, and it must be hard for you having to go to Prague for the weekend and drink all
Yeah.
that Czech beer and eat all that food and you know
Don't
how are
get
you
me
going to
upset
cope?
before we leave. Don't get me upset. In fact, just don't. Could you keep your voice down so my wife doesn't hear the rest of it? Honestly, you got to be out there soon, mate. We've got to catch up. We've got to drink one of those beers or two of those beers together. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. I do have my eye on. I think Bratislava's on the calendar in
Yeah,
October, something like that.
that's
But
right. Yeah, October
not a long
4th.
drive for me, so I've got my eye on one of
Ooh,
those.
come on, buddy. Let's do it. I'll treat you to a Pilsner or a Radagast. How about that?
Sounds absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much, Bryan, and talk to you soon.
Take care, buddy.